now. Mollie Hemingway, Fox News contributor and editor-in-chief of The Federalist, as well as Byron York, Fox News contributor and chief political correspondent for The Washington Examiner. Mollie, I'm going to get to the Senate leadership fight coming up in the next segment, but I want to get your reaction to the Wall Street Journal reporting that Mike Waltz will be Trump's national security advisor. So there's some concern that there's so many members of Congress that are moving into the cabinet. Is there any risk of losing any of these special election seats like Stefanik's or his? Both of them are pretty safe districts, though.
Well, it's not about whether those seats would be won by Republicans in a special election. It's about the fact that Republicans are going to have a very small majority. So if that report is true, I think it would be surprising given that very small majority. But the overarching issue is that for Donald Trump, his first term in office was a foreign policy success. He had not just the Biden administration, but really much of the permanent D.C. class not understanding what made that a success. And so those national security positions, Department of Defense, Department of State, are going to be very key for accomplishing his mission, which isn't just important for the country, but really for the whole world as we're on the verge of World War III and other conflicts.
Byron, the idea that the Democrats can go back to just the George Soros funded resistance and they're going to get different results this time. I don't think it's smart. I really don't. This was a popular election victory. And you feel the change. It might be a little imperceptible to some, but I feel it when I'm out and about.
You know, I do think for just a few minutes in the shock after Donald Trump's victory, there were some Democrats who thought, well, maybe we ought to give it a rest for a little while, just kind of wait, see what happens, and then we can be the opposition party, of course, but maybe take a different course. I think that thinking lasted about 10 minutes. And it's in the sports, they call it muscle memory. I think their muscle memory is to just attack, attack, attack. And one thing actually we have not seen yet is if you remember back in 2016, we didn't learn about it till later. There was an effort behind the scenes to desperately try to keep Trump from taking office on January 20th, 2017. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of Hail Mary thing with the 14th Amendment. Who knows what they might try, but they are clearly, I think, going to get very desperate as the weeks go by and January 20th gets closer.
Well, earlier today at the climate summit, Biden's envoy, John Podesta, was asked about how to, Mollie, Trump-proof Biden's climate agenda. Watch.
We're fully committed to trying to award and obligate the funds that were available through the Inflation Reduction Act. My team back in Washington is hard at work ensuring that we solidify the investments.
So, Mollie, spend it all, I guess. That's their answer, which, that's something. It's better than just saying you're a fascist, I guess.
Well, this is what actually makes this transition so different than the 2016 transition, too. That was a surprise to everybody, including the Republicans who won. I think they didn't realize, the Trump administration the first time, didn't realize how much resistance there would be, not just from the bureaucracy, these unaccountable, unelected bureaucrats, but also the Democrats who were trying, as Byron noted, to keep Trump from even being inaugurated. But you even had a lot of resistance from those establishment GOP types. 2024 is a completely different ballgame. The incoming Trump team understands where those threats are. They're working to combat them in different ways. There are probably many ways that permanent, unelected, unaccountable bureaucracy is trying to subvert the will of the people in an unconstitutional fashion. But the team is so much smarter now. They've learned so much from that obstruction and resistance of those previous years. So when the problems come, and they will come, they'll at least be not so surprised by them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to talk about the swamp. It's another thing to try to wade through it when you know where some of the alligators like to hang out. So, Byron, earlier today on CNN, there's an interesting breakdown of the polling on some of the future potential frontrunners for the Dems. Watch.
There's no early clear favorite, and that is really unusual. You have to go all the way back to the 1992 campaign with this giant question mark over here, where there was no clear heir apparent. This is going to be the first cycle, it seems, since going back all the way to the late 80s, early 1990s, in which there is no clear early frontrunner for the next Democratic nomination.
That is a little odd, don't you think? Because just a few years ago, Byron, we were hearing that populism was dead. You know, wither populism. How many National Review, headlines do we have about that? And right, I mean, probably a lot. And now this, progressives are kind of like, not her. Whitmer's kind of lame, and Pritzker no, and Newsom is Newsom. Do you see anyone? Is anyone obvious?
Well, not only is 2028 just a question mark, there's no leader for the Democratic Party right now. If is what we think will happen, they're going to be completely aced out in the House and the Senate, and of course they won't control the White House. There will be 0 Democratic leaders in Washington.
Wow. Oh, my. Not even a week since the election. Mollie and Byron, thank you both.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.